Thousands of demonstrators took to the streets of Barcelona Sunday in support of remaining a part of Spain. The rally is the largest pro-union demonstration to date since the regional government attempted a declaration of independence. The Spanish government has made a series of moves to take control of the area, including firing the Catalan parliament and setting up special elections for December. Seth Doane caught up with a few protesters in Barcelona.
Former leader here would say you are standing in Catalonia, not Spain.
That's not true, actually. You can see that lots of people are here just to see that we are Catalans and we are not supporting the Catalan government.
And they have to tell Puigdemont, where is your passport? What does your passport say? We are Spanish, so we are Spanish.
Seth has now traveled from Barcelona to Girona, Spain, the hometown of former Catalonia President Carles Puigdemont. He joins me now. So Seth, what is the mood like there?
The mood here, there is, I would say, cautious optimism. People are excited. This is the opposite of those pictures that you saw in Barcelona, where you saw so many people out on the streets supporting the government side, the central government. Here, this is the deep support for the other side, the independent. It's those folks who supported Carles Puigdemont in his effort for independence. As you look around here, even maybe you can still see behind me, you can see the flag that the Catalan independence movement has taken on as theirs. That striped flag with the little star behind me across the river, and all around I can see flags that say sí, which means yes, of course in Spanish, yes for that referendum, a yes vote for independence. So here people have told us they're excited. They were excited to see Carles Puigdemont here yesterday, walking through the crowd, really treated as a celebrity. He was still addressing his people. Puigdemont has yet to step down, even though the Spanish government has booted him from power and said that he would not be paid any longer. But here he was greeted as a celebrity, people taking selfies with him, people taking pictures and applauding as he walked through the streets. A great deal of enthusiasm here for that side of the argument, but also people are cautious. You've seen more than 1,500, around 1,700 or so businesses change their legal address to move them outside of Catalonia. People are afraid of what this means for the economy, so some businesses have changed their legal address. So I would say some cautious, very cautious optimism here.
Do we have a sense of what the people of Catalonia themselves want?
You know, each side claims to be the majority and claims to be the voice. When you look at those numbers of people who went to the polls on October 1st, often people look at the overwhelming number of folks who voted in favor of independence, but many of the people who opposed independence didn't vote at all because they didn't see that vote as a legal, as a valid vote, which is certainly how Prime Minister Mariano Rajoy and Madrid did not see that as a legal vote. When you look at polls that try to gauge public opinion here, honestly, they're pretty split. Depending on the polling, depending on the time, you see somewhere between 40, 45, 50% around that of people supporting independence. So you don't really see an overwhelming majority on one side or the other. And it's interesting, you hear a lot of people who say even within families, even within groups of friends, you have some people who really want independence, some who don't, and some, frankly, who blame the politicians for polarizing the viewpoints here. They say, I didn't feel particularly strong, but this politician has pulled me in one way or the other. And many people here you talk to will say both sides have made mistakes. In some ways, Puigdemont, some will say, have made mistakes in pushing this. On the other side, you certainly saw that heavy-handed crackdown on that October 1st referendum where Spain came into the polls and in some cases had police pulling people out by the hair.
Well, special elections are set for December 21st. Do we have any sense of what we can expect to happen in the meantime?
Well, there are a lot of questions. One of the biggest questions in that December 21st election, that regional election here, is who will take part. And everyone is looking to see if Carles Puigdemont will indeed play a role, will stand for election in those regional elections. That will be quite telling, because this is something that has been called for by Spain. So if Puigdemont does indeed stand in those elections, that legitimizes it in a way. It's interesting, the Spanish foreign minister today was saying that they welcomed Puigdemont. Spain has been saying they welcome Puigdemont to take part in those elections, but also the Spanish foreign minister today was noting that that was if he wasn't in jail. I mean, there are Spanish prosecutors who are suggesting that he should be jailed for rebellion, which would carry with it an up to 30-year prison sentence.
And Seth, I realize I'm asking you to look into a crystal ball here, but do we have any sense at all how likely it is?
No problem, we've got one, Elaine.
How likely it is that Puigdemont could be reelected?
Well, it's interesting. A lot of people say it's odd that people are putting so much weight on an election, because when you look at the polling, some quite informal, it's quite possible that you would have the same makeup of a Catalonian parliament on December 21st. So people say, well, what really is going to change? So you'll see both sides. You have Madrid, who's calling for an early election, presumably to stop this period of instability, but you have many people here saying, well, nothing is really going to change. So if the folks in favor of independence are again voted in, is that another mandate for independence on December 21st?
All right, still so many open questions. Seth Doane reporting. Seth, thanks so much.